All right, I want to take a look at how to just do some different shapes on our canvas and kind of how to manipulate them a little bit. Again, we're starting off small here. You'll be able to do a lot more with it. So we still have the same two functions that we started with, function setup, function draw. I'm not going to do that. Okay, we're going to just start right into our draw function. So again, it has to be between these curly braces. And let's make a rectangle. Rectangle. Now, I can make it so that I can always say, hey, this is a rectangle by just putting two forward spaces here, or slashes. And it just makes it so that you can actually identify what are you coding. So if somebody else had to read this, they would know. So, hey, this is a rectangle. Now, the code for rectangle is rect. To find all the stuff, you can go on the P5JS, and they have all these pre-made shapes already for you. And it also will tell you, hey, what does the rectangle do, or what does each number do in it? But we're just going to play around with it a little bit here. So I'm going to go just put 200, 200. We need four numbers. If I just put 200, 200, you can see nothing even shows up. And it says there's a problem at the bottom. It says it was expecting at least 3 arguments. So the arguments are inside of here. But only received 2. So let's just do 100 as our other argument. Okay, so let's see what this kind of looks like then. Now, one way is to actually go on the website and, hey, find what does each argument actually do. But maybe you just want to say, hey, what does this actually do? Well, that just moved it to the right. So again, just like with our text, this is our width, our height, and this is going to be how big it is. Now, this is going to, if there's only one number here, or 3 in total, it's just going to be a square exactly. So it's 100 by 100. But if I was to put a second one, so let's say this is 200, that's going to make my other, my height's going to be different now. So it's going to be a rectangle. I'm going to move this closer to the top. So again, 0, 0 is up here. So let's just do like, I don't know, what are we going to do? Let's do like 50 and 100. That should move us pretty far up. There we go. So now you can see, hey, we've got a rectangle. Now I want to do a few different shapes. I think that's fine. That's a nice rectangle. What if I wanted to, like, I don't know, change the color of it? It's kind of boring. It's white. It's really important to do this above the shape that you want to do. So it's going to be called a fill, and that's going to change what's inside of here. And this is the red, green, blue again. So you've used that quite a bit already. So we've got our red, green, blue, and hey, now we got yellow. And you can put whatever numbers you want in here. We can do like 200 if you want instead. If you don't like the yellow, you get an orange. Up to you, you can go find that stuff. But what you're going to notice is there's still a little black border around here. And to fix that, that is the stroke. Okay, now the stroke color is also red, green, blue. And I'm going to make this one the same, so you can't even see the border. So 255, 200, and 0. So that's going to make it so we should have no border now. Perfect. Now it looks like we have no border. Kind of boring though. So what if we want to make like a really cool looking border? Let's say 50. And this would be 100. I have no idea what color this is. We could go look up colors, but I don't really want to. Sure, it's like a greenish. But you can just barely see it. Wouldn't it be nice if you could see it more? Well, you can. So it's called stroke weight. And we can choose that. Let's do 25 and see what that looks like. Oh, wow. There we go. That's way thicker. Now you can actually see what that looks like. You can play around with the number. We can make it 20, 1, whatever you want it to be. So you can see as the number gets smaller, the width gets smaller as well. Okay, perfect. Now you know how to do a rectangle. Let's go on to the next one. So I'm going to say this is my circle. Now, it's actually an ellipse is what we're going to be using is that function. And let's put that over somewhere in this corner. So let's say like, I don't know, how wide is this one? 400 by 400? Let's make this 600 by 600 for me. So I have a bit more space. Oh, it doesn't like that I just stopped coding here for some reason. So I just got to... There we go. Now it's going to work. A little bit bigger. Now that I'm done coding, so delete those so I can code it again. I want it somewhere over here. So let's say like 400 and I don't know, like 100. So it should be up here, 100 height. Now we have to choose how wide we want this. If I just put 50, should get a nice perfect circle. But just like the rectangle, this is an ellipse. I could make it into an ellipse. So you can say, hey, look, now that's our height. So again, this is like our x, our y, our width, and our height. I just want a circle. I think a circle looks nice. There we go. What I don't like is that I said that I wanted the rectangle to be these colors, but I don't want the circle to be those colors. So above the circle, I have to put some new fills in here. And so I'm going to put, I don't know, 0, 255, 0. Sure. Looks better. Now at least the middle is green. But you know what? I don't want any of this at all. And so to get rid of that completely, I am just going to put no stroke. No, not yet. Should I do that? No, let's just make it smaller. Let's do stroke weight. Sorry, I'm just... Well, there's so many different things you can do here. Let's do like a 3-stroke weight. Ah, there we go. Now it kind of looks like a circle instead. Okay. So far, so good. Kind of boring though, right? Like this. No, it's good. We'll get more exciting on the next one. So we got our stroke weight. Yeah. Let's do a line. Now you think, how can that be more exciting than a circle? That should be the first thing you should do. Circles, a line's actually a little bit tougher. What I'm gonna do, well, it's not hard to write, it's just line. You've got 2 coordinate points you're gonna give it. An x and a y is the starting point, and then an x and a y is the end point. So for instance, I'm gonna make it be down here somewhere. So I can say 400 and 100, and then I want it to end somewhere over here, but maybe at a straight line. So we'll do 600, and it'll still be 100 height, so it's a straight line. So it should be some kind of straight line over here. Oh, sorry, that's 200. Yeah, I'm thinking 500. There we go. Okay, so we got the straight line. Yay, exciting. Not really. But it's important to know that this is our starting point, so that's right there. And this is our end point, so over here. So if I just put this to 5, that's my width, yeah, 550. Then now you can see it got a little smaller. But not that exciting. But there's some cool things because we're using JavaScript. I can actually change this line whenever I want, and I'm even using my mouse. So I want the starting point to be the same. Now I said this was my x value, so I'm going to put in a pre-made variable. It's called mouse x, and for the y, I'm going to put in mouse y. Meaning it's going to take the coordinate points of my mouse for the x and the y, and it should follow it around. So there you go, it's following it around. It does take a second to kind of catch up, but so that's already way cooler than HTML. Just like that, we can actually do something. And if you really want to see what's happening with that, we can use a print function. Now, print isn't going to put it on the screen, it's going to put it in the console. So if I just go print, and I'm going to print mouse x, and it's got to be a capital O. There we go. Now if I go like this, so far it's saying 0 because I'm on the side of the screen though, but as I move it, I want to see the bottom here. There we go. It should be scrolling. You can see it's changing as I am moving the mouse. For some reason it's not just automatically scrolling. Don't know why. Anyway, you can see as I move it, it's just changing. And so you can use the console for things like that to figure out, hey, what is that actually that x and the y there too? So that's kind of useful. And let's do one more. Let's go back to our friend the ellipse. Or you know what? I don't like that this line is green anymore. So how do I change the line color then? Well, this is considered stroke. So we're going to type in stroke, and I don't know, let's just do 0. So it's a nice black line. It's still green. Why are you still green? Stroke. Oh, okay. So you can see why it's green on my line. So I've got the line going, and then right after I tell it to change to black, which doesn't work. You have to tell it first what color you want. There we go. Ah, perfect. Now it's black. Okay, so we're good. Let's just do one more thing. So an ellipse, let's make that ellipse even cooler. I'm going to change the stroke color on that ellipse, but some of you haven't, well, let's just do 255, 255, and 255 again. So super boring, it's just white. And I want my ellipse. And we've already done one ellipse. So the first one is the coordinate point of the center of it. But what if I just said I want it to move? I want it to move with the mouse. So like the mouse X, and taking the mouse Y. And then I gotta say the size of it. I'll make it a perfect circle. Let's do a 70 circle. So if I hit this then, oh yeah, there we go. Look at that, that looks pretty cool. But we can take this one step further. What if these colors changed the whole time? So for instance, I just type in random and then bracket, and it's actually going to pick a random number between 0 and 255. And I'll do the same thing, random. Now you could just do this to one of them, but I want the ultimate random, so I'm going to do it to all of them. Just be careful, there does have to be another bracket on the outside. You can see the program is saying, hey, you got to close this. Okay. So now you can see it's like sketching out a little bit, but it still looks pretty cool. It looks a little better if you just make one of them random. So I think if we just do the last one random. So it's a little bit hard to see. Let's just crank these down to like 100. There, now you can see it's kind of changing a little bit. So, but it is following us, and I think that's it.